You know that feeling when you walk past a closed storefront, one you've known for years, and it just hits you with this real sense of loss? Well, today, we're going to dive into how San Francisco's changing storefronts are telling a really surprising story. It's not about decay like you might think. It's about a quiet, character-filled reinvention. And it all starts with the feeling I think so many of us can relate to. You see, this one closure, on this specific corner, it felt like it was signaling something way bigger was at stake, right in the heart of the city.
All right, so let's start right there with that one corner. What was it about this specific closure that made it feel like it represented so much more for the whole city's story?
Yeah, this wasn't just any coffee shop. We're talking about a place that was a fixture for more than 30 years. It was that kind of spot that just grounds a neighborhood, right? Predictable, familiar, always there. And then, poof. After getting bought up by a massive corporation, it was suddenly gone.
And look, it was just so easy to slot this closure right into that doom loop narrative we've all been hearing about, wasn't it? Oh, another empty storefront, another sign that the city is hollowing out, becoming, less itself. But this feeling, it wasn't just about one coffee shop going under. To really get what's going on, we need to zoom out a bit and look at a much longer-term trend that was already happening in the background.
The source actually has a great name for it, the flattening effect. Just think about Starbucks, right? And its whole history of buying up these beloved local spots. It's this process of taking something with a really unique character and just sanding it all down until it's smooth, efficient, and looks exactly the same as every other location on the planet. And this just illustrates the playbook perfectly. So, step one, you buy a local favorite that has a really loyal following, like Pasqua Coffee or Le Boulange. For a little while, it feels kind of the same. But then, slowly over time, that unique local character gets replaced with something totally standardized, something that could be anywhere. That is the loss people were really feeling.
Okay, but this is where the story takes this fascinating, completely unexpected turn. What really seemed like the end of a chapter was actually the beginning of something totally new.
Because, just underneath the surface of all those familiar doom loop headlines, a completely different reality was quietly starting to grow.
And the data here is, it's pretty surprising. Get this. In the past year, in an area that was hit really hard by the pandemic, a whopping 25 out of 30 new businesses were not national chains. Nope, they were local, Bay Area-born spots. And this isn't just happening in the abstract either. Let's look at a real-world example. One specific address, 22 Battery Street. Where you used to see a Pete's and a Jamba Juice, you'll now find Flywheel Coffee and Boy Chick Bagels, and both of those are local institutions. The very spaces left empty by the big chains are being reclaimed by local character.
So here's the crucial point, right? These new independent shops, they're offering something the big chains just couldn't. They're creating places where you actually want to linger, where the whole experience matters more than just how fast you can get in and out. They're literally restoring a sense of community.
All right, so how is this even possible? How is this shift actually happening? Well, it's all rooted in a fundamental change in the city's ground floor economy. See, the old model was built for a very specific world, one with packed office towers and tons of steady commuter traffic. It was all about sameness and scale. But when that world collapsed, the model went with it. What's taking its place is something new, a model that favors adaptability, uniqueness, and actually meeting the needs of the people who, live there.
So why is this happening right now? Well, the mechanics are actually pretty straightforward. You've got high vacancies, which means landlords, they can't be as picky anymore. So they're offering lower rents, more flexible leases, and in some cases, they're actively seeking out local tenants to bring some life back to their properties. The entire economic equation has just completely flipped.
So what does all this mean for the future? This isn't just a simple comeback story. It really feels like it's about a city finding a fundamentally new and very different identity.
And that right there is the key takeaway. San Francisco isn't just trying to rebuild what it lost. It's constructing something entirely new from the ground up. A retail landscape that's maybe a little less predictable, sure, but way more authentic to the city itself. This chart just visualizes that change perfectly. An overwhelming 83% of new businesses in a key downtown area are local. That is such a quiet but incredibly powerful statement about where the city is headed. It means more of the businesses shaping its future are from here, rooted here, and invested in sticking around.
Now, it's important to be realistic here.
This whole transition, it's not a guaranteed success story. Not by a long shot. Local businesses are, by their very nature, more fragile. The economic recovery is still pretty uneven, and things are uncertain. So this new landscape, for all its amazing character, it's going to need our support to really thrive.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As these old, predictable, uniform models of retail start to retreat, could we be witnessing the birth of a new kind of city? One that's maybe a little less convenient, a little more uncertain, but ultimately a whole lot more like itself?